Imagine for a moment that the grid has finally gone dark. The chaos has settled into a terrifying silence. The grocery stores have been picked clean by the initial panic mobs within the first 48 hours. The pharmacies are empty shells, looted of every antibiotic and painkiller. Even the sporting goods stores and gun shops have been stripped to the bare walls. The average survivor is now wandering the streets, desperate, looking for scraps in places that have nothing left to give. But in almost every neighborhood, there is a building that people walk past without a second glance. A building that sits unlocked, abandoned, and ignored. Why? Because psychological conditioning tells us that this place is for emergencies only, and in a collapse, we assume the emergency services have failed. We assume it's empty. We assume it's useless without the trucks. That assumption is the single greatest mistake a survivor can make. I'm talking about the local fire station. To the untrained eye, it's just a garage. But to someone who understands the architecture of survival, a fire station is a self-contained, fortified operational base designed specifically to keep human beings alive when the rest of the world is burning down. It is an engineering marvel stocked with tools built to bridge the gap between civilization and catastrophe. And right now, that gap is where you live. While the masses are fighting over the last can of beans at the supermarket, you need to be heading to the fire station, not to look for food, but to acquire the superpowers that will allow you to dominate your environment. Here is exactly what you need to secure before anyone else wakes up to reality. 1. The fire hose, the ultimate raw material. The first thing you will see, and likely ignore, are the racks of fire hose. You need to purge the idea from your mind that fire hose is just for moving water. In a post-collapse world, you are not looking at a hose. You are looking at the most versatile, high-strength industrial fabric on the planet, available in massive, continuous quantities. Standard fire departments stock thousands of feet of hose, ranging from the smaller 1.75-inch attack lines to the massive 5-inch supply lines. This isn't garden hose rubber. This is a composite marvel engineered to withstand internal pressures exceeding 1,200 psi and external abrasion from dragging over concrete, broken glass, and rebar. When you look at a roll of 5-inch supply hose, don't see a tube. Slice it lengthwise, and you have a 50-foot or 100-foot strip of puncture-proof, waterproof, rot-resistant material that is superior to any tarp or canvas you could buy. Structural defense. You can use it to reinforce walls or board up windows against looters. It will stop thrown debris and low-velocity projectiles that would shatter plywood. Resource transport. Cap the ends, and you have flexible bladder tanks capable of transporting hundreds of gallons of water in the bed of a truck, conforming to the space available. Bedding. A coil of fire hose is not just storage. It's a mattress that keeps you off the cold, freezing ground, providing crucial insulation. But the real secret lies in the smaller attack lines. When drained and flattened, they become heavy-duty straps with a tensile strength that rivals steel cables, but with the flexibility of rope. You can use them to tow vehicles, lash logs together for a permanent shelter, or create a suspension bridge across a washout. You are walking out with miles of indestructible construction material that will last for decades. 2. The Halligan bar, the skeleton key to the city. If you can only carry one heavy steel object out of that station, walk past the axes, walk past the sledgehammers. You want the Halligan bar. In the firefighting world, they call it the irons for a reason. This isn't just a crowbar. It is a masterpiece of forcible entry engineering. Designed by a firefighter in the 1940s, it features a unique three-way head, a tapered pick, a wedge, adze, and a forked claw. Why is this tool a game changer? Because in a survival scenario, the world is full of locked doors, and you don't have the keys. The Halligan bar is the universal key to the entire city. Mechanical advantage. The geometry of the Halligan gives you a massive mechanical advantage. You can breach a reinforced steel security door, pry open the trunk of a locked police cruiser, or twist off a padlock in seconds. Urban excavation. The pick end allows you to punch through sheet metal, shatter safety glass, or dig into frozen soil to create latrines or foxholes. Lethal defense. As a defensive weapon, it is terrifying. It is 30 inches of forged steel that can puncture, crush, and hook. It doesn't run out of ammo, and it doesn't jam. A survivor with a Halligan bar has access to resources that are physically impossible for others to reach. While others are staring at a locked warehouse door, starving, you are inside in under a minute. Every fire engine usually mounts 2 of these. Grab them both. They are worth their weight in gold. 3. SCBA tanks, portable atmospheric dominance. Most scavengers will walk right past the yellow or gray tank sitting in the racks thinking, I don't need to fight fires. That is a fatal lack of imagination. Those self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA tanks, are not just for smoke. They are your ticket to operating in environments that kill everyone else. These tanks hold compressed atmospheric air at pressures up to 4,500 psi. They are made of carbon fiber-wrapped aluminum, designed to survive a building collapse. Having a functional SCBA unit gives you 30 to 60 minutes of immunity to airborne threats. Consider the reality of a long-term collapse. Without fire services, cities will burn. Smoke will blanket entire districts. Chemical plants will fail and leak toxic gas. Sewers and underground tunnels, often the safest routes to travel unseen, can accumulate methane or lack oxygen. Tactical mobility. With an SCBA, you can shortcut through a smoke-filled subway tunnel or a burning block to escape a hostile group. You can enter a chemical spill zone to scavenge supplies that everyone else is forced to abandon. Utility power. Beyond breathing, that tank is a vessel of potential energy. With a simple adapter, 4,500 psi of air can be used to power pneumatic tools to unbolt tires, inflate massive rafts for water crossings, or even clean debris from wounds. Weaponization. In a worst-case scenario, a rapid release of that pressure in a confined space acts as a stunning distraction device or a directional air blast to blind an attacker with dust and debris. Don't leave them behind. Even empty, the tanks are high-grade pressure vessels that can be repurposed for water filtration systems or fuel storage. 4. The thermal imaging camera. The eye of a predator. This is the item that fundamentally changes the rules of engagement in a post-collapse environment. Most fire stations carry handheld thermal imaging cameras, often mounted in the charging docks of the trucks or in the captain's office. These are compact, battery-powered devices that detect infrared radiation and display it as a visible heat map. In the firefighting world, they are used to see through blinding smoke to find unconscious victims or locate the hidden seat of a fire inside a wall. But in your world, the world of Primal Methods, this tool gives you a literal superpower, the ability to see the invisible. At night, the world is a terrifying, unknown void for everyone else. But with a thermal camera, you can detect the body heat of a person or an animal from hundreds of yards away, even in total darkness. You can spot an ambush waiting in the bushes before you walk into the kill zone. You can scan a row of dark houses and instantly know which ones are occupied by seeing the heat signatures leaking from their windows or roofs. Tactical reconnaissance. Before you enter a new area to scavenge, you scan it. You will see the heat footprint of a vehicle engine that was recently turned off, telling you someone is nearby. You can track fresh footprints on cold ground for minutes after someone has passed. Resource hunting. Thermal imaging allows you to spot game animals bedding down in the brush that are perfectly camouflaged to the naked eye. You can locate hidden water leaks behind walls or underground pipes by the temperature differential with the surrounding soil. However, there is a catch that amateurs ignore. Battery life. These units are power hungry. You treat this device like a limited resource. You don't walk around with it on. You use it for pulse checks, quick scans of your perimeter or route. If you secure a solar charging setup, this single piece of electronics makes you the apex predator of the night. 5. The medical supply room, a hospital in a box. This is the find that will save more lives than your rifle ever will. Most people will raid pharmacies. That is a rookie mistake. Pharmacies will be stripped of narcotics and antibiotics within hours. But almost nobody thinks to raid the EMS supply room in a fire station. Most modern fire departments run paramedic-level ambulances, meaning their supply rooms are stocked with advanced life support gear that you cannot buy at a drugstore. We are not talking about Band-Aids and Neosporin. We are talking about trauma intervention. IV fluids. You will find bags of saline and lactated Ringer's solution. In a collapse scenario where dysentery and cholera from bad water will kill more people than bullets, the ability to rehydrate someone directly into their bloodstream is a miracle cure. It turns a fatal case of dehydration into a recovery. Trauma care. You will find hemostatic agents like QuickClot that chemically stop massive arterial bleeding. You will find tourniquets, chest seals for sucking chest wounds, and pressure bandages designed for combat-level injuries. These supplies are meant to keep people alive in the worst 10 minutes of their lives. Burn treatment. In a world without fire trucks, burns will become a common and horrific injury. Fire stations stock sterile burn sheets and specialized hydrogels that prevent infection and manage pain for large surface area burns. This capability does not exist in the average first aid kit. Airway management. You will find tools to mechanically keep a throat open, from simple oral airways to advanced intubation kits. If someone in your group suffers an allergic reaction or a crushing injury, these tools are the difference between suffocating and breathing. You are walking out of that room with the capabilities of a field hospital. 6. Rescue rope and rigging, vertical mobility. If you have ever tried to buy real climbing rope, you know it's expensive. Inside a fire station, you will find spools of it, and it is higher quality than anything at an outdoor store. Fire departments use Kernmantle life safety rope rated for human loads with a massive safety margin, often breaking strengths of 9,000 pounds or more. Along with the rope, you will find the hardware, steel carabiners, pulleys, figure-8 descenders, and harnesses. Why does this matter? Because in a collapsed city, the ground level is the kill zone. The ground is where the debris is, where the gangs are, where the danger moves. This gear gives you the third dimension, verticality, access and egress. You can rappel down the side of a building to escape a fire or a hostile force when the stairwells are blocked or ambushed. You can ascend to rooftops to set up observation posts or sniper hides that are inaccessible to anyone without gear. Heavy transport. Using the pulleys and rope, you can rig a mechanical advantage system, a Z-rig, or a 3.1 haul system. This allows a single person to lift hundreds of pounds of supplies, move a stalled vehicle, or clear heavy debris from a collapsed entrance without exhausting themselves. Tyrolean traverse. You can rig a horizontal rope bridge between two buildings to move supplies or people across a street without ever touching the ground. You are creating your own highways in the sky. You are not just scavenging rope. You are scavenging the ability to move in ways your competition cannot. 7. Infrastructure maps and pre-incident plans. The city's cheat codes information is more valuable than ammunition. And inside the captain's office or the watch room of that fire station, you will find the ultimate intelligence dossier on your local area. Fire departments don't just react to fires, they plan for them. They maintain detailed binders called pre-incident plans for every major commercial building, school, and industrial facility in their district. To the average person, these are just boring blueprints. To a survivor, they are treasure maps. These documents tell you exactly where the utility shutoffs are. In a scenario where gas lines are rupturing and turning neighborhoods into bombs, knowing exactly where the main valve is located saves your life. They show you the floor plans of grocery store warehouses, revealing back entrances and loading docks that the looting mobs at the front door don't know exist. Hazard avoidance. These plans mark the locations of hazardous material storage. You need to know which industrial park building is full of chlorine gas that could kill you if the containment fails, and which one is storing valuable propane. The water key. But the most critical piece of intel is the district map on the wall. It shows the location of every single fire hydrant. Why does this matter? Because fire hydrants connect directly to the municipal water mains. Even when the taps in your house run dry due to a lack of pumping pressure, gravity-fed water mains often retain thousands of gallons of residual water in the lower pipes. With a hydrant wrench, which is also in the station, and that map, you have the keys to an underground water network that the rest of the thirsty population doesn't even know is there. 8. Turnout gear, the urban armor. Finally, we come to the most iconic item in the station, the turnout gear. The coats, pants, boots, and helmets hanging in the locker room. Do not make the mistake of thinking this is just a costume. In a post-collapse city, the environment itself becomes a weapon, Broken glass, jagged metal, exposed rebar, and debris will cover every street. A simple infection from a rusty nail or a deep laceration from a broken window can become a death sentence when there are no antibiotics. Turnout gear is essentially modern armor. It is engineered to withstand temperatures of 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is useful, but its real value lies in its durability. The outer shell is made of advanced fabrics like Nomex, Kevlar, and PBI. It is incredibly resistant to cuts, punctures, and abrasion. You can walk through a field of shattered glass or climb over a razor wire fence, and that gear will take the abuse that would shred normal clothing and skin. The boots. Fire boots are built with steel toes and steel shanks in the soles. They are designed to protect you from crushing injuries and to stop nails from piercing your foot. In a survival situation, your feet are your engine. If you can't walk, you die. These boots guarantee you stay mobile. The strategy. This gear is heavy, about 45 pounds for a full set, and it gets hot. You don't wear it 24/7. You treat it like a raid suit. When you need to breach a dangerous building, scavenge through a wreckage site, or move during a riot, you suit up. It turns you into a tank, protecting you from the environment and offering significant defense against blunt force trauma and even knife attacks. So look at what you have accomplished. While the rest of the city walked past that empty fire station, ignoring it because they only saw a garage, you saw an armory. You walked in empty-handed. You walked out with miles of industrial-grade construction material. You secured a Halligan bar that opens any door. You acquired air tanks that let you breathe in death zones. You grabbed a thermal camera that gives you night vision. You stocked a hospital-grade medical kit. You rigged a vertical transport system. You mapped the entire city's infrastructure. And you armored yourself against the physical threats of a broken world. This is the essence of Primal Methods. Survival isn't just about what you have stored in your basement. It is about how you see the world. It is about recognizing value where others see nothing. The fire station is just one example of the resources hiding in plain sight, waiting for the person with the knowledge to claim them. When the collapse comes, don't be a victim. Be the one who knows where the tools are. This is Primal Methods. Stay sharp. Stay ready.